This comparative bar chart shows the percentage of people who smoke and the percentage of people who have quit. And the first set of questions are just about the age group 60 and over, so just these last couple of bars, and a few people lost marks not realising that. First off, we have to write down the percentage point difference between the proportion who smoke and the proportion who have quit. And all we have to do for that is find the difference between their percentages. We're then asked for this group, for everyone who smokes, which is 11% of the group, roughly how many people have quit smoking? So that's 75% of the group. And we can see this is roughly 7 times. So roughly for each person who smokes, 7 have quit. Which age group has the highest percentage of people who have never smoked? So the group with the highest amount who have never smoked, we're going to take away from 100% those who smoke and those who have quit. And it's highest for the group from 16 to 24, and we can see that just from the size of the bars here. If we add those together, they'll be less than the total of the bars from any other group. Lots of you went on here to actually do the calculation. So you did 100 take away 23 plus 20, which gave you 57%. Next part is saying for that age group, what percentage of people have never smoked? Well, we've just worked this out here. It's a 57%. So for this, it's saying we need to make an assumption, which we need to state about the population. So 21% of people aged 35 to 49 smoke. 24% of people aged 25 to 34 smoke. Now the key thing to spot about this is that these are different size groups. There's a 15-year gap in here because it does include the lower and the higher figures from the chart, and there's just a 10-year gap in here. So that's key to understanding that, because although the percentage of people aged 25 to 34 is higher than the percentage here, we're going to show there are more smokers in this group. And that's because of the difference in the size of the groups. You could do this by estimating numbers in each of these groups. So we know there's about 65 million people in the UK. We could say that's about 1 million for each year of age. Okay, very, very rough. So in this group where there's 15 years, that means there would be 15 million. So we'd need to find 21% of 15 million. For this group, there would be 10 million, and we'd need to find 24% of that. And so from these very rough calculations, we can see there are more smokers in this 35 to 49 group. These values over the absolute maximum the mark scheme would allow for the size of the group, because we knew this here was very, very rough. That, you know, average life expectancy is 80. We know there's different amounts of people in different age groups. And the assumption we made here, we showed 1 million for each year, and that was the same for all age groups. But you had to be careful if you did choose numbers for these groups. So some of you, for example, said there was, like in this group, maybe there was 3 million people. And in this group, there were 2 million people, which is the right kind of proportion, because we said this is kind of 1.5 times this amount. So they kind of make sense on that front. But the total of this would be 5 million. And that's in that group going from 25 up to 49. So 5 million in a 25-year group. So if we think about that, leaves about 60 million people for the kind of the 25 years younger and the years older. So we can see that doesn't fit. So you did lose marks if you put that. You could also answer this question without actually using population amounts by just kind of saying, well, this group's going to be about 1.5 times as much. So if we say got our 21% and our 24%, we could call that 10 and that 15 without actually thinking about the millions or the numbers involved, or call it 100 and 150 and find our answer that way.